Anand Ranganathan, and then I'll get you, Abhijit.
Thank you. I'm very glad my good friend Vivek ji has asked this question because ये मेरा second point था, लेकिन बीच में दूसरे विवेक जी हैं. You know, if life gives you a Vivek, make it a Silas, not a Srivastava. बीच में इंटरप्ट कर दिया, मेरा 1 मिनट खा गए. मैं ये बताना चाह रहा था कि ये हंस रहे, थैंक यू विवेक, दोनों विवेक हंस रहे हैं. मैं ये बताना चाह रहा था कि सोरोस आए या सोरोस के दादाजी आए, परदादाजी आए, why should we be worried? That is why I said ignore Soros, and I'll tell you why.
Why should we be worried?
एक सेकंड विवेक जी, देखिए ये अनफेयर है. आपने मेरा नाम लेके सोचा तो मैं आप बताना चाहता हूं. Much organizations much worse than Soros's organization are Indian billionaires are currently funding media houses in India that are 100 times more virulent than what is being funded by Soros. I don't want to name those charlatans. Every day they peddle 10 fake newses. They denigrate India. They hate Hinduism. They hate Modi, whatever, जो भी question है. लेकिन वो इंडियन बिलियनियर्स हैं supposedly, जो कि इस गवर्नमेंट के फ्रेंड्स हैं, वो ये कर रहे हैं. So it doesn't matter whoever is funding whatever as a free speech absolutist. I don't care. What I care is my government, is my India strong enough to actually counter them? Is that the fact? If that is not the fact, ठीक है, सोरोस ने $10 बिलियन दे दिए, जो भी है, ये एंटी फार्म प्रोटेस्ट किया. हमने एज अ स्टेट हम क्यों कैपिटुलेट कर गए? हमारी वीकनेस थी. शाहीन बाग पे लिखने वाले 1000 लोग आ जाएं, लेकिन हमने वो 6 महीने तक शाहीन बाग इलीगली वहां पे बनने क्यों दिया? सो द प्रॉब्लम इज ऑल्सो विद इंडियन स्टेट. Why are we worried about?
I'm sorry, you know, Anand Ranganathan, it's very good to be a free speech, absolutist, but there are problems. When these issues come into the domain, it goes to the streets of India, then people who are sitting in a position of power have to look at many pros and cons before they actually just shove people and go through absolutist, as it is, you are calling them dictators. If they were to shove everybody off the streets overnight, what would you call them, and what would George Sorors call them? I don't know. But Abhijit Iyer Mitra,
wants a 100-year-old newspaper.
One line. Anandji, one line. Anandji, one line. Anandji, one line. Let me give an example. For instance, Rahul Gandhi says Bharat Jodo is his mission. Bharat Jodo यात्रा भी निकाली, बीजे यात्रा. अब ये बीजे यात्रा निकालने वाले लोग इलान ओमर के साथ खड़े हो जाते हैं. अब ये बीजे यात्रा के साथ सिंक होता है क्या? Going with Ilan Omar is not a legal offense.
नहीं होता.
There's no legal offense. One second, Anand ji, one second. इलान ओमर हमारे देश का कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ सकती, ना इलान ओमर के साथ जाना कोई लीगल ऑफेंस है. पर मैं पूछना चाहता हूं, बीजे यात्रा के जो यहाँ पे 2 डीजे बन के समर्थक है, मिस्टर विवेक साइलस एंड विवेक श्रीवास्तव, ये दोनों डीजे बजाते हैं बीजे में, तो बीजे यात्रा वाले बताए कि इलान ओमर के साथ आप बीजे यात्रा कर रहे हैं. ये इंडिया को कश्मीर से अलग करने के ये बीजे कर रहे हैं, मतलब बीजे यात्रा कर रहे हैं. अब बताइए कि आपका डीजे बज रहा है कि नहीं बज रहा है इस बीजे यात्रा?
मेरा तो पहला सवाल ही यही था.
क्या
हिंदुस्तान की सरकार देश में कमजोर है?
बोलिए,
क्या हिंदुस्तान की सरकार कमजोर है कि कोई भी आएगा और कश्मीर को अलग कर देगा? ये तो गलत बात है भाई.
तो सोनिया गांधी बोलिए,
या तो आप मानिए कि आप इतने कमजोर हैं, आपकी सरकार इतनी कमजोर है.
सोनिया गांधी
कोई भी घूमता हुआ आएगा, कश्मीर को इंडिपेंडेंट स्टेट बना देगा, अलग देश बना देगा.
But you will not refrain from standing with them. How's that as a question, Abhijit Iyer Mitra?
You see, my issue with this entire debate is you assume that the congruence between George Soros and the Gandhi family is something new and it has come to light only now. ये तो ज़मानों का रिश्ता है. It is the congruence between the two families has gone back over 70-80 years. Let me start with George Soros. He, as a kid, a Jew growing up in Hungary, he literally joined the SS Waffen, rounding up other Jews, confiscating Jewish properties, all right, and throwing other Jews under the truck into the gas chamber to save himself. At that same time, a certain Stefano Maino, the grandfather of Rahul Gandhi, joined Hitler's army, was part of Army Group South, which carried out the worst massacres of the Holocaust. Zamano ka rishta hai. Second, notice, this is the same man, George Soros, who destroyed all the East Asian economies in 97, which led to about 10,000 suicides and other related deaths, families killing their own people because of the trauma he had got. Completely amoral. He says he has turned over and trying to do good deeds and things like that, totally amoral. Remember, Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi's economic reforms also caused the same kind of devastation. Do you remember the state we were in 1991 when Narasimha Rao had to bring about reforms? Again, zamano ka rishta hai. Third, both these people, very surprisingly, seem to support Hamas. George Soros, every one of his organizations supports Hamas. In the Gandhi family's case, Priyanka has tweeted several times in support of Gaza, Hamas, and all of that. Right? You tweet in support of Gaza, you're essentially supporting Hamas. Let's be very clear about that. Fourth, why is it? Why does this congruence extend to the fact that the Gandhis only cite media reports and retweet people that the Soros Foundation seems to fund? कोई और नहीं मिला क्या retweet करने का? किसी और का कहानी नहीं मिला क्या कुछ करने का? Why is this congruence that has gone over 70 years continuing to this day with the same anti-Semitic pro-Islamist policies, economically destructive policies? Today what Rahul Gandhi is trying to do, create economic havoc, is no different from what George Soros did to the East Asia. Sure, there are market distortions. We all accept there are market distortions. So do you destroy an economy because of market distortions? When you were in power, what did you do to fix those market distortions? Lastly, Navika, I would just ask you to focus on a side piece of information, which my insider sources tell me has got a Congress in a panic situation right now. The fact that Sam Pitroda's laptop and his mobile devices were hacked yesterday or day before yesterday. Apparently, there is major panic in Congress because of that. Please do check that out. Thank you.
Well, Tehseen Poonawalla, the question here is, these are serious questions. The questions are not about whether Soros can shake this country up, but the question is about sharing a platform. The Congress and the bigwigs in the Congress sharing a platform with India baiters. And I must quote Shakespeare here. Caesar's wife must be above suspicion. Because that's what it was said. When you are in politics and national politics, you should know which friends you keep and where you share platforms. And Tehseen Poonawalla, the onus for that, isn't it on the Congress party?
You're absolutely right. That onus is on the Congress party on which shares platform with. Who was the onus for when the most honorable Prime Minister of India was having a one-on-one meeting with Jeremy Corbyn, at least in case of Omar, who I think is a rabid senator and I think is terrible for the United States of America. It was a group meeting. The Prime Minister, Honorable Modi, was meeting Jeremy Corbyn one-on-one. Who was it in the interest of? Who advised him? Look, we can get down to these issues, but the fact of the matter is this is the most powerful country in the world, and if the Prime Minister is today, if the economic GDP is falling today as the RBI is predicted, if you've gone back to given up the liberalization and gone on to protectionism, is that all because of Soros that the current Prime Minister is doing it? Is that why your economy? And
contact the Bank of Britain, Bank of UK, and you'll know. But Shehzad, quick counter.
First of all, I am saying Congress is bad. But you expose us in Parliament. Why are you running away from Parliament from a debate?
Well,